So we'll go ahead and get started. It's 3 o'clock and the Board of County Commissioners is reconvened after their recess. And our next presentation is Superior Court, and we have the Honorable Judge Price here for us.
Thank you, Commissioner, and good afternoon to all of you. A special welcome, Commissioner Cooney. This is my first opportunity to work with you, and I look forward to it. So it's a privilege to be here today representing Superior Court, and I do want to thank you for that opportunity. And with me, I'd like to introduce my colleagues, Ashley Callan, who is our court administrator, and sitting next to Ashley is our assistant court administrator, Leanne Wakefield. And both Ashley and Leanne have been extraordinarily involved in today's budget presentation, and without them, I do have to say I'd kind of be lost in a chasm of numbers and line items, and it would be a pretty big mystery to me, but they've helped me to figure it out. And I know I'm going to embarrass her, but I don't care. Because she's so modest, I did want to especially thank Leanne. She is, without question, if you don't already know her, the most zealous guardian of the taxpayers' funds that you could ever hope for. And she has a wealth of institutional knowledge about virtually every aspect of court funding. So, Leanne, I just wanted to say thank you for all that you do for us. So I would be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that I'm not supposed to be here today. We lost our colleague, former presiding Judge Koza, last January. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't think about him, and I especially miss being able to drop by his office and chat with him, call on him for advice, and I'm quite certain he would have provided me some very helpful insight about this process. Since I can't talk to Sam, I have to fall back on some of the wisdom that he shared with me over the years, and I can almost with certainty say what I think Sam would have said. He would have told me, work hand in hand with the BOCC. We all share the same goal, and that goal is to faithfully serve the citizens of Spokane County. You can see our mission statement, and rather than read it to you word for word, I think it's best summed up like this. Our mission statement is to provide our citizens unhindered access to justice with courtesy, with respect, and compassion, and to do that in a manner which instills confidence in the judiciary with every citizen that we serve. Not just some of the time, but all of the time. I really can't begin to express in the short time that I have how very proud I am of all my judicial colleagues who have helped me through this process, and the dedicated and very professional staff who we work with every day in Superior Court. I can say unique to any place that I've ever worked in my life or been privileged to be employed. Everyone in Superior Court is part of the team. A time where we've seen budgets strained and our workloads are increased, I don't hear complaints. Instead, it appears the norm in Superior Court is to look for solutions. How can we make this work? How can we be more efficient? How can we look for better ways to serve our citizens? Now, it feels like I live in Superior Court, and so because of that, I qualified to say that Superior Court is a very busy place. And as you can see, every day we handle complex felony criminal matters, civil litigation, family law, include paternity matters, adoptions. We preside over probate and guardianship matters, as well as juvenile dependency and juvenile offender cases. We have our therapeutic courts, where we assist those who are drug dependent and mentally ill. And we have a courthouse facilitator who provides one-on-one assistance to literally thousands of self-represented litigants every year. And our very busy jury management team, they work hard to ensure that our trial judges have jurors ready to go for countless criminal and civil trials throughout the year. We have an arbitration program that's there to address those civil cases where mandatory arbitration is required. And we have a guardianship monitoring program, which is vital to our disabled citizens. You can also see that we have our Family and Juvenile Court Improvement Program, which has become invaluable to those families who are working hard to have their children returned to them by providing advice, direction, and coordination of services. Now, to be quite candid with all of you, until I became a Superior Court judge about 15 years ago, I was really very much unaware how diverse and expansive our court is, at least all the services that we provide. And you can see in 2016, we resolved 4,429 criminal cases, 7,655 civil cases, 2,964 family law or related type cases, and over 1,825 probate and guardianship matters. There were 638 cases directly involving civil commitment, mental illness, and addiction, and in our juvenile court, where I am now privileged to spend the majority of my time, 2,217 juvenile dependency and or juvenile criminal cases. So, in case you were doing the math, I did it for you. That's 19,728 cases resolved by Superior Court in one 12-month period. We have a few months to go in 2017, and we're on track to significantly exceed the number of cases we resolved last year. In fact, that increase will be at least 12% alone in the area of criminal filings. 12% in 1 year. Now, returning to my comment about the diversity of our work in Superior Court, our very busy court facilitator, who I touched on, provided direct assistance to 1,800 citizens last year. To get an understanding of this, that is one person providing one-on-one instructional advice to more than 150 people every month. And literally, having been a family law judge for 2 terms and a pro tem commissioner, I can tell you that our family law judges and court commissioners couldn't function as efficiently as they do, but for our very devoted and very hardworking courthouse facilitator. In 2016, our jury management office summoned over 30,000 citizens for jury service, not only for Superior Court, but as you may know, also for district and municipal courts. This is incredibly challenging work, and it goes on 52 weeks a year. This isn't like the old days when they used to summer off. This goes on all year without interruption. Many of you are aware that we have one of the most honored and well-regarded felony drug court and felony mental health courts in the Northwest. It's not just drugs, it's not just substance abuse that our drug court focuses on. It's also the wealth of citizens who have co-occurring substances and mental health issues that need to be addressed. This is some of the most valuable and frankly highly economical work that we do in our court, with study after study that shows a direct correlation between drug and mental health treatment and significantly decreased recidivism. Our guardianship monitoring program, that program has been a model for courts across our state, and it acts to ensure that guardians of our incapacitated citizens are properly managing assets and ensuring that those citizens are well cared for. This program relies entirely on trained volunteers who audit files and visit incapacitated citizens throughout Spokane County. This program currently monitors more than 2,000 cases, and of late, our guardianship monitoring program was instrumental in investigating and shutting down a local professional guardianship service that was blatantly failing to care for their clients. But for the guardianship monitoring program, this continued abuse of some of our most vulnerable citizens might very well still be ongoing. Now, you can see from the next slide, and I promise not to spend too much time on it, that we've been very good fiscal stewards of the taxpayers' money. Less funding available. In 2015, 2016, and 2017, and now, of course, our projected 2018, our budget requests have averaged $6,667,237. That's the average. For 2018, our request is $215,347 more than the average. In 2016, on the other side, our budget request was $67,671 less than our average. And with all the economic ups and downs, we have continually presented to the BOCC a budget in the neighborhood of $6,700,000. Now, as you can see, for 2018, our total budget proposed is in the amount of $6,882,584. Of that amount, $5,801,935 would come from the general fund. $400,997 would come from ITA civil commitment, and $679,652 would come from the 1/10 mental health sales tax. Our 2018 Superior Court program budgets are $5,147,429 for trial court operations, $326,391 for jury management, $223,090 for guardianship monitoring, $784,677 for our therapeutic courts, and $400,997 for civil commitment. Now, you have asked that we look for ways to reduce our budget by 7.3%. And we have worked hard to honor that request. And as you can see, the cuts that we have proposed are very significant, an amount just short of $149,000. I will come back to that in a minute, but before I do, I would like to take you back to a number that I recited previously that I think is very telling, 19,728. That's the number I previously mentioned that represents total cases that were resolved by Spokane County Superior Court in 2016, almost 20,000 cases. And as I mentioned, we're on track to exceed that in 2018, 12% increase in our criminal filings alone. I would suggest if we were a business in the traditional sense in Superior Court, in the traditional sense of that word, we'd be patting ourselves on the back. We'd be celebrating our success. Because we have more and more customers that are coming in the door each year, and they need us. And they need only what the court can provide. They don't have to worry that our customers are going to go down the street to the competition. That's because the courts are the sole resource that citizens have when it comes to access to justice. They can't get it anyplace else. And these citizens have a right, pursuant to our Washington Constitution, pursuant to our statutes and our laws, to access to the courts, which means we can't just scale back. We can't just shut down when funding is limited. And we can't say to our customers, we're just going to stop watering the grass for a while, or maybe we'll wait till next year to repair that section of road. We can't operate that way. Why? Because we have mandated responsibilities that we must provide. We must provide them because our citizens have a right to access them. Now, returning to my original comment and my thoughts about what Judge Koza would have said to me, we are here to work with you, not against you. We uniquely recognize that the county has a limited amount of funding available, and much of that is completely beyond your control, especially when one considers, with due respect, the current mindset in our state capital. Now, with all of this in mind, our proposed 2018 budget change of $148,974 was derived following countless meetings between myself and Judge Marianne Marino, who is the chair of our Budget and Planning Committee, Assistant Presiding Judge Ellen K. Clark, our Court Administrator, Ashley Callan, our Assistant Court Administrator, Leanne Wakefield, and finally, multiple meetings which involved virtually every member of our bench. And together, I can say with certainty that we scoured every nook and cranny of our budget, and we looked at virtually every single line item to find ways to cut. And with each proposed reduction, we had to honestly ask ourselves, can we make this cut and still provide to our citizens mandated services that they're entitled to? Our proposal is a reduction in the amount of $34,500 from our guardianship monitoring budget. This reduction would virtually eliminate all supplies and paid parking for our guardianship monitoring volunteers. The likely impact would be a reduction in those volunteers who would now incur significant out-of-pocket costs should they wish to continue to volunteer for this much-needed program going forward. We proposed a reduction in the amount of $32,000 from our jury budget. This amount would be derived by virtually cutting all juror lunches, which are provided to jurors during deliberations, as well as outsourcing mailings that are currently done in-house. Further funds would be cut by reducing the number of jurors that we summon each year. Very significant impact of this cut could be an increase in mistrials and/or the need for us to recall alternate jurors, should jurors inadvertently be exposed to lawyers, litigants, or witnesses during the noon lunch hour. At present, our jurors are essentially sequestered during the noon lunch, and they are not free to leave a deliberation room. This cut would also likely reduce the number of jury trials that can be completed, given a smaller pool of jurors that we would have to draw from. Civil cases awaiting trial would find that their matters are delayed as a result of our court's constitutional requirement to provide priority settings to all criminal cases first. An additional cut of $29,000 would be arrived at by reducing and/or canceling subscriptions to necessary judicial resources, such as the RCWs, our Washington Supreme Court reports, our Court of Appeals decisions and reports. All court funding for required dues paid by judges to belong to statewide judicial associations, such as the Superior Court Judge Association, of which I am a trustee, would be canceled. Judges would no longer have access to valuable judicial resources provided by these associations, and the court would need to jointly share amongst 19 judicial officers legal materials that are necessary to conduct daily research in our courtrooms. Significant cut in our trial court operations in the amount of $41,000 is included in our proposed reductions. And while we have projected that we may be able to still provide essential services, in all likelihood, Superior Court would need to request additional funds to maintain those mandated services through the 2018 calendar year. Now, as you may know, Washington courts continue to be substantially underfunded, and we maintain the dubious honor in Washington state of being number 50 in the nation in court funding, number 50. Washington state spends less than 0.7% of the state general fund and 0.4% of the full state budget on funding state courts and the judicial branch. Despite this, we will pledge to work in any way we can with other justice departments to become more streamlined and even more efficient in the years going forward. We will strive, along with our clerk's office, to work towards 100% electronic document filing and access, and we will continue to increase the number of participants in our felony therapeutic course. And we'll work to increase accessibility to our court by those who are either self-represented or are citizens with ADA needs. We are currently partnering with our district court to install electronic kiosks around the courthouse campus that will provide to our citizens clear and easy to understand directions to each and every hearing or trial that individual may have. And we will continue to work with our justice partners to achieve and implement those goals set by the SLRJC and MacArthur Grant projects. We are the second largest city in Washington state, and we continue to have filings in all areas of the law increase. We cannot continue at this pace without adding a second courthouse facilitator, and we will continue to look for options to accomplish this goal. Some of you may know that Spokane County has been statutorily authorized to add a 13th Superior Court judge for more than 15 years. And the need for this additional judicial department has only become more exigent over time. We will continue to discuss with you fulfillment of this much-needed position. We'll continue to work with our facilities to prioritize long overdue refurbishments to our historic courthouse, and we will continue in our partnership with our courthouse security deputy and our county risk management to provide a safe venue for our employees to work and our citizens to conduct business. And we will work to finalize technological improvements in all of our courtrooms used by Superior Court judges and to keep pace with technological advancements in a timely manner going forward. Having said all of this, on behalf of the entire Superior Court bench, my colleagues, and the dedicated professionals that I'm so privileged to work with every day, I want to offer my deepest thanks to all of you for the opportunity to speak with you this afternoon. I welcome any questions if you have any that I can answer.
Thank you, Judge. Any questions? Kearns, any questions? So I think the one thing that you've articulated in your presentation today is what we've heard from a lot of the departments that are working here at the county. We've got some incredibly dedicated staff that are committed to serving the public, and you do an outstanding job with limited resources. And I wish the situation that we are in right now, we weren't here, but you know, hopefully this is a one-year challenge, and we'll have better days ahead of us. But I certainly appreciate all the work that you and all of your staff do on behalf of the taxpayers of Spokane County, and thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. May I offer one more comment?
Please.
I just returned on Friday at 2 in the morning from Reno. I spent a week at the Judicial College there, got a scholarship. And as the presiding judge, it was a training for presiding judges. And you go to law school or you become a judge, there's a whole lot of stuff, if you will, becoming a presiding judge that you have to sort of learn on the job. We spent 2 days, I just thought it was very timely, but we spent 2 days in my session at the Reno Judicial College dealing with county and legislative budget issues. And I don't know if all of you are aware of this, I certainly wasn't. I was advised in this class of about 18 judges that about half of these judges do not have a process where they can actually come in and have the opportunity to speak with their board. They are simply told, this is your budget, and that's the end of the discussion. I don't know how people can work that way, but I'm grateful that all of you give us an opportunity that I thought was the same across the country. Apparently it is not. So we very much appreciate the opportunity to talk with you today. So, thank you.
Thank you. And we look at this as a partnership with all the departments. I mean, I've made this comment a number of times. I wear the shirt with the logo on it proudly because you make me proud of by just showing up and doing what you do every day. So just thank you. Thank you on behalf of the taxpayers for all that you do. We are very blessed to have the employees that we have working for the county. So thank you.
Thanks for hearing from us today.
Okay.
Appreciate it. All right.
Hey, Ms. Wallace, you're going to bring us on home here. So I'm getting the high sign that he needs to reset up there.
Oh, does that mean wrap up?